All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a fable that you might think you know, but trust me, it's so much more than just a simple story. It's actually a brilliantly designed, high-stakes test of character, and we're going to break down exactly how it works.
So it all kicks off when a hunter captures this tiny little bird. But just as he's about to, do what hunters do, the bird speaks. And with his one incredibly clever line, the bird just completely reframes the entire situation. It's not a meal, it's nothing. This is move number one in a serious game of wits.
And then comes the offer. The bird proposes a trade, and it's one that seems almost too good to be true for the hunter. Its tiny, worthless little life in exchange for 3 pieces of wisdom so valuable they're literally called priceless. The hunter, of course, is intrigued and agrees. The trap is now set.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. The bird doesn't just give out some random advice. No, it's laying down the fundamental rules for a test that the hunter has no idea he's even taking. Let's look at rule number 1.
The first piece of wisdom is given while the bird is still in the hunter's hand. And it sounds super obvious, doesn't it? Never believe something that's clearly impossible. It sounds like something you'd tell a 5-year-old, but that simplicity is totally deceptive.
And here's the absolute key. The hunter hears this as just some philosophical principle, right? An abstract idea to kind of file away for later. But the bird is handing him a practical tool, a lens to see the world through that's meant to be used right now. The entire test hinges on whether he gets that difference.
Now, for the second piece of wisdom, the bird gets smart. It says, "Let me go first." The hunter agrees, and whoosh, the bird zips up to the safety of a nearby roof. From this new position of power, it delivers the second rule of the test. Never regret what is already gone. Again, this sounds like total common sense. I mean, we've all heard "don't cry over spilled milk" 1,000 times. But just like that first piece of advice, this is not just a saying, it's another tool. And what's really interesting here is the framing. The hunter hears this as an instruction, a command not to feel a certain way. But what the bird is really offering him is a shield. It's a mental defense to protect himself from the pointless pain of mourning something he can't change anyway.
And here we go. This is the moment it all comes together. With the 2 rules established, the bird now springs its trap. It's about to test the hunter to see if he was just hearing the words or if he was actually listening.
And this is the bait. Oh, it's perfect. The bird sighs all dramatic and delivers this incredible lie. And notice the detail. Not just a pearl, but a pearl of immense value. It's a story crafted to attack the hunter at his absolute weakest point, his greed.
10 gold coins. I mean, let's just pause on that. This number isn't random. It's meant to be completely overwhelming. It represents a life-changing fortune, a treasure so much more valuable than the bird he just let go. It's a number designed to short-circuit his rational mind. And the hunter's reaction is just instantaneous. He doesn't think, he doesn't pause, he completely collapses into pure, unfiltered regret. He loses all control, physically acting out this agony he feels inside. And that's it. He has failed. It's an absolute, undeniable failure. In a single moment, his greed and his total lack of self-control have completely vaporized the wisdom he was given just seconds before.
And this just brilliantly shows us how he failed. He broke both rules in perfect order. First, he believed the impossible story about the pearl. Then, as a direct result, he immediately began to regret what was already gone. He fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. So now the bird, sitting comfortably on the roof, changes roles. It goes from teacher to judge. It's about to hand down the verdict and explain to the hunter just how incredibly foolish he has been. The lesson wasn't learned, so now it has to be spelled out. The bird just exposes the whole trap with simple, cutting logic. It applies that very first piece of wisdom directly to its own lie. It's a physical impossibility. All the hunter needed was a single moment of critical thinking, but his greed just wouldn't let him have it. And if you were to grade him on this test, the results are pretty clear. The rules were simple, but the hunter's actions were a direct violation, leading to an unambiguous result, complete failure on both counts. And in that moment, the hunter finally gets it. The regret he feels now isn't for some make-believe pearl, but for his own profound foolishness. The shame is just overwhelming, because he sees the test, the trap, and his own failure all at once. And with those final, piercing words, the bird flies away. This is the ultimate lesson here. Wisdom isn't some gift you just receive, it's something you earn by actually using it. Because the hunter couldn't apply the first two pieces, he proved he was completely unworthy of the third.
And that leaves us with this huge, critical question. The hunter knew the rules, right? He heard the words, but his actions proved he didn't understand them at all. And it really forces us to ask ourselves, how much wisdom do we think we have in theory, but completely fail to apply when our